Hello everybody, this is the last week and a half essentially of our class, weeks 15 through to 16. Week 16 we only have about a half a week of the class and then finals start, so I've just combined the 2 weeks into one. So in this last segment of the class we will be covering chapter 15, which is all about psychological therapies, and this plays really nicely after what we just covered last time, which were psychological illnesses in chapter 14. So it might even help this week to kind of piggyback and go back and forth between the two chapters. I will say that the authors do a nice job of showing you different therapies and then telling you what types of illnesses those therapies are good for treating. So I'm hoping that it all starts to kind of make sense and kind of meld together. So here's your to-do list for the week. You're reading chapter 15, but you're also reading Hawk 9.2, which is relaxing your fears away. And that's going to be tied to your discussion board questions for the week. So let's take a look here. Here are your objective overviews for the chapter, basically looking at all the different kinds of treatment and therapy available for those with mental illness. Your lecture slides are here, and I've posted a number of different videos for you to help get you acquainted with the various types of therapy that are available. So the first video I posted is about psychotherapy. It's one of the crash course videos, and it just gives you a nice overview of psychotherapy. This one here is another crash course video, and it has to do with biomedical treatments. So not all psychological illnesses can be treated biomedically. Many are only treated via therapy, but many are also treated with both therapy and some kind of a biomedical treatment, such as a medication. So you're going to take a look at that. I've posted another video about treatments for depression, some different psychological therapies and how they aim to treat depression. Okay, so I hope you find those helpful in terms of understanding illnesses. And you could go back to last week. I know there was a lot of videos last week. If you need to re-watch any of those, that might be helpful this week in understanding this material. Your discussion centers around systematic desensitization. It's a type of therapy mostly used for anxiety disorders, specifically phobia type disorders, or even OCD. And so we'll be looking at how the therapy works, and then how people get a phobia, the acquisition of a phobia, and how that's related to some of the learning principles that we discussed earlier in the semester, specifically chapter 5. We talked about operant conditioning and classical conditioning. Well, these are closely tied into how people acquire a phobia. It's often because they've related one thing with another. One benign object, a thing that shouldn't really scare you, like going outdoors, with something that does, and they've become afraid. So based on the principles of learning, your discussion for the week deals with talking about what kinds of therapy might be useful for the treatment of phobias. And you'll want to base a lot of this in that discussion that you read about earlier in the semester, having to do with operant conditioning and classical conditioning. All right, and then lastly, you'll have a quiz covering chapter 15, and you'll have your final exam, which is not cumulative. It covers chapters 7, 14, and 15. It does have 45 questions, so a little bit more than normal, and that's on your syllabus just in case you need to take a peek at that. And that's going to wrap up your final weeks of this class. And I just want to say that you all have been such great students online. I know that this semester was not easy for some, a lot of adjustment required, and you're probably getting tired of hearing the word resilient, but it's true. When you face adversity and you rise above and overcome it, you become stronger. And you kind of know a little bit more about what you're capable of. And I've seen a lot of that in you guys this semester. I've enjoyed the discussions online and reading your comments to one another each week. And I'm just really hoping for a good ending for all of you this semester and into next semester, as for many of you will be continuing online learning. Please feel free to reach out anytime, even if I'm not still your professor. You can reach out to me if you have any questions or need help. I'd be glad to help you anytime. Otherwise, have a wonderful end of your semester, great holiday season. Hopefully y'all get some time to spend with your family and friends. And I just wish you all the very best.